Hello everyone, this is SpecInfo and welcome back to our video series on mastering IP address, subnetting and networking models. In this video, I'm going to show you how to calculate the subnet mask of any V4 IP. Okay, so this is the most important video or important part of this video series because this is really going to help you in your career where you have to deal with networks, IP addresses and subnet masks. Okay, so let's start. So this is the Cybermentor subnetting cheat sheet, and here you can see based on the CIDR, which is slash 1, 2, or 24, or say 32. We have the total number of hosts. Okay, and in this video, I'm going to show you if someone gives you the IP address. If someone has given you the IP address of 192.168.0.1/24, then how to calculate the subnet mask of this. By seeing at this IP, anyone can, like, we can guess that subnet mask of this will be 255.255.255.0, right? And we also know the total number of hosts. But this is the very common CIDR. What if someone gives you the IP address of /18 or /29, right? This number will also be changing. Then how to calculate the range of the network, how to calculate the total number of hosts, this all we're going to see in this video. Okay, so before starting this, go back to the basic. In previous video, I have shown you how the IP address, like how the binary changes the IP address in decimal format. Okay, so for example, this the subnet mask of /24 is 255.255.255.0, right? And as this is 255, then all binary will be turned on in the first octet. Same goes to the second octet and third octet, right? So class C, this is the class C IP because from the subnet we can say, and we have 8 bits for host and other 24 for network. So we can calculate the host simply by doing this 2 raised to 8, which is 256. These are the number of hosts we can get, and the valid host will be 256 minus 2, right? We know that we have to subtract the network IP and broadcast IP, right? So whenever I change this to 1, so this is the subnet mask of /25, that is 255.255.255.128. You can see 250/255 having the total host 128. So this Excel sheet is calculating that for us. But every time, like for in exam we don't have this Excel sheet, right? So how to calculate this all based on just this number /25, I'm going to show that. Okay, so let's make one new sheet. So what you can do in your exam paper, you can make this sheet on rough paper. Yes. Similarly, here from 9 to this is all the CIDR from 1 to 32. Okay, this is 1 to 32. Okay, and we know that default subnet mask for this /8 will be 255.0.0.0, right? We know that default subnet mask for /16 is 255.255.0.0. For /24, which is very common, 255.255.255.0. Now, what I will do, I will just make here for the host. So I will just write this like 128 to 1, which is 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, and 1. You just have to do the 2 raised to 0, 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 2, 2 raised till 2 raised to 7. Okay. Now for subnet, this is very important. I'll again start with 128. Now you have to add this 128 with 64, which is 192. Now you have to add this 192 with 32, which is 2 to 4. Now you have to add this 2 to 4 with 16, which is 240. Now you have to add this 240 to 8, which is 248. Now you have to add 248 with 4, which is 252, right? Then same goes to this 254 and 255. Okay. Now this row is very important to calculate the subnet. Now suppose the subnet mask for this range /1 to 8 is x dot 0 dot 0 dot 0. So here we are focusing on this x, which will be filled. From /9 to /16, we have already filled this till 255. Now we are working on the second octet, which is x, right? And if we come to this /16, then it also becomes 255. This range /17 to /24, we are working on the third octet, right? These two octets are already filled till 255, right? So it's this similar concept we're going to use here. So in range /1 to 8, we already know that we are working on the first octet, right? This is x. In this, we are working on second octet. In this, we are working on third octet, and here we are working on fourth octet, right? Awesome. Now, if you want to calculate the subnet of /20, for example, if you have to calculate the subnet for /20, then we know that first two octet is already filled, right? 255.255, and we are working on third octet. So for 20, you have to check here what is the subnet 240, right? So this will be 240.0. Okay, so this is the subnet of /20 IP. Now if you have to calculate the subnet of say 30, then what will be the subnet? So we are working on the fourth octet, so 255.255.255, and for 30 we have 252 number, right? 252. Perfect. Now if you have to calculate the subnet for /3, then how you can do that? For /3, now we are working on the first octet, right? For /3 we have 224. The subnet will be 224/0 dot 0.0.0. Okay, so this is the subnet for /3 CIDR. Okay, so this is how you can make the table on your last page or as a rough work in your examination or whenever you need this cheat sheet, and you can calculate the subnet mask, right? But now we will focus on how you can calculate the number of hosts, right? So we will make here this small Excel. Here we will keep, okay, let's keep good with this cell. Here we will keep the IP address. Okay, here we will keep the subnet mask. Here we will keep the host. Here we will keep the network, and here we will keep the. So if we are calculating the subnet for 192, let's start with the basic, the well-known IP, which is 192.168.1.0/24. Now here we are already given this /24. So subnet of that we know, which is the standard, right? Which is 255.255.255.0. Perfect. Now how to calculate the number of hosts here? Now, again, I will show you one more trick. See this cheat sheet, you can see as we are decreasing the CIDR, the hosts are doubling. For 32, it was only one host. For 31, it is 2. For 29, it is 8, which is double of 4, right? So how you can calculate the number of hosts? In the previous video, we have seen how to calculate the number of hosts for a specific class of IP, but you can also follow this method. Now, how to calculate the total number of hosts is, suppose now we know that this is doubling, right? So for this we can do 2 raised to 0, which is 1. This is 2 raised to 1, which is 2. 2 raised to 2, which is 4. 2 raised to 3, 8. 2 raised to 4, 16. And similarly it goes till this, which is 2 raised to 31. Okay, so if you want to check, you can 2 raised to 31, right? 2e9, which is very huge number, right? If you want, so for example, let's take an example of 12. If you want to calculate for 12, then count till 32. Okay, so we want to calculate for /12, then so we will count from /13. So let's count 1 2 3 4 4 plus 8 12, 12 plus 8, 21. Okay. If I do 2 raised to 21, then I will get this number, which is for slash 11, right? You can see here, it is for slash 11. So here we have to calculate for slash 24. So we know the total number of hosts is 256, but if we have to go with this method, then what we will do, we will count from slash 25, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what we will do, 2 raised to 8, which is 256, which is the total number of hosts. So we will write 256. Or if you want to do the valid number of hosts, then do the -2, which is for network IP and broadcast IP. We have seen that, right? Now network IP will be IP for this. If this number goes till 255, 256, then network IP is always the first IP. Okay, it's first IP itself. So this is 192.168.1.0. Okay, broadcast IP is the last IP. Okay, for this IP, the total number of hosts we have is 256. So this IP can go from 0 to 255, right? So the last IP is always, or always, not always, but usually the broadcast IP. Okay, now let's take another IP address. Let's take this IP, like some tricky IP. So let's go with 192.168. Let's say 1.16 slash 28. Now here's the magic comes. Okay, now here we have to use all the concept we have learned till now. Let's check with our sheet we have made. Okay, so for slash 16, where is this? Here. So we are working on X over here. Okay, so 255 dot, and what is the value of X? We have to check in this subnet, which is 255. So 255.255.0.0. Okay, so we will write 255.255.0.0 and total number of hosts. Now how to calculate the total number of hosts? We know that it is slash 28, then we have to count from 29 slash 29, which is 1 2 3 4. So 2 raised to 4, how much it is? 2 raised to 4, 16, right? So we can have how much hosts? 16 hosts, right? Now the network IP, we know the first IP of any range is the network IP. So this will be 192.168.1.16. Okay. Now broadcast IP. Now to calculate the broadcast, it is tricky. Now this is the network IP and total number of hosts we can have is 16, right? Now in network IP, we have already added the networked IP host, which is 1.16. So we have to add 15 more hosts, right? To calculate the broadcast IP, which is the last IP of this range, and usually broadcast IP is the last IP of the range, right? So 192.168.1 dot and 16 plus 15, which is 31. Okay, cool. Let's calculate for one more IP, which is 192.168.0.0 slash let's go with 23. Okay, and for 23, here it is, we are working on the third octet. So first two are filled with 255.255 and third octet will be 254, right? 255.255.254.0. Perfect. Now how many hosts we can have? So for slash 23, let's take help from this. So for 23, we will count from 24, which is 1 plus this 8, we get 9. So we will do 2 raised to 9 equals to 512. So this is the total number of hosts we can have. Okay, and valid host will be 510. Okay, now network IP will always the first IP of the range, which is 192. Oh my bad, 192.168.0.0. And what will be the broadcast IP? This is the confusing state. Okay. Now here we don't have 255, we have greater than 256, right? Which is 5 and 2. Now we have to calculate how many part we can make from this, that each part will be of 256. So we can make at least two part, right? So here, if we want to calculate the last IP and total number of hosts we have to fit in this IP is 5 and 2. So we also have to use this octet, right? Because this octet can only go from 0 to 255, right? So we will start with filling this host bit first. which is 0 till 255, and after it will turn to 1, right? So this will turn to 1, and this will again start from 0 to 255. So we can calculate this many hosts, right? So the last IP of this range will be 192.168.1, because we will also switch this third octet. We will go to one level forward for third octet, and the last will be 255. Perfect. Okay, so this is how you can calculate the subnet mask and the total number of hosts in a network, and to calculate the broadcast IP. So usually the main thing to focus here is whenever you have given with this slash, you should able to calculate the subnet mask, and based on subnet mask, you can calculate how many bits you can fill in the empty bits, right? So here you can see we also have the third and fourth octet because it is not filled till 255, so we can also use this. Okay, right, and we can also use this. Okay, and how to calculate the network IP and broadcast IP. So this is the basic IPs I have given here. You can go with more advanced in private class and stuff. If you want me to take more classes on this, then comment me below. I will surely try to make videos on that. So I will give you the homework. So I will give these IPs. I want you to solve this. Okay. So I will be sharing this whole Excel sheet for you to reference and learn from it. Okay. So you can find the answer of that, but please try to calculate this from your side and check answers. Okay. So I want you to calculate subnet mask for this three IP, the host, network IP, and the broadcast IP. Okay. So this is how you can calculate the subnet mask of any CIDR, which is this /24 32. Based on that, you can calculate how many IP you will get, how many, what is the network IP, and what will be the broadcast IP. So this is very important part of an subnetting. This is the basic. Okay, so in this series we are not going to dive deep into the private classes and stuff, but if you want such videos, then you can comment below this video. That's all from my side. See you in next video where we're going to discuss on the networking models and some of the concepts of subnetting. Thank you so much.